Welcome back to Trek Trav. I am Trav, and this is Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 1, Hegemony Part 2. Hegemony? Hegemony. Anyways, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is an initial reaction. I've just finished watching the episode. There will be spoilers. Make sure to watch the episode and then come back. The story is the thing, really. I don't know how to describe it. We'll talk about the overall look of the episode. Like, it's obviously in Hegemony Part 1, we didn't know the fate of certain characters. I wish the trailer didn't spoil the fate of certain characters. That would have been nice. But I very much feel that this had all the tension right there. I genuinely, with La'an and Sam and Mbenga and Ortega's, I genuinely was really like, oh, this looks really cool. This is really great. We got to see the sort of Pike in a commanding way, which I really enjoyed. Seeing the Gorn, you got to see more of the Gorn in this episode than any other episode. You got to see them clearly up front. They do look very much like the Halo Covenant aliens, but they're greener. I do like Patel's story. I like everything was working really, really well in this. Everyone was on all cylinders. There was lots of technobabble. We got to see a bit more of Scotty working, and he works really well under pressure, which was really fantastic. Him working with Pelia was also really interesting. There's obviously a bit more to that relationship than we know. Pike dealing with the stress of the Gorn, as well as having his girlfriend in sickbay dying. We find out that she is not going to get better without some major thing. Oh, and spoilers, magic Illyrian DNA, which I was fine with. I had no problem with that. But overall, the story, it was like a three-pronged story. You had what Scotty and Pelly were doing, you had what Nurse Chapel and Spock were doing with Pike's girlfriend. You had what Pike was doing with the Gorn, and you had what La'an was doing on the ship, trying to commandeer a Gorn ship in order to save the colonists. They're sending transporter signals. Pike trying to work out how to kill them. There's some interesting pseudoscience of solar flares influencing the Gorn's attack and sleep cycle. And as soon as they said it instigates them going into a warlike cycle, but then there's also cycles of none. I'm like, are they going to do a best of both worlds? They're going to, like I was genuinely like, so we've got a finale that's being resolved in a conclusion, and the best that they could come up with was pretty much taken from Best of Both Worlds, which was to use the stars to essentially put the Gorn to sleep or in hibernation. The inside of the Gorn ships looked fantastic. I know that they used the AR wall. It was pretty clear. Seeing the Gorn running, they're a little less, they're both alien-like and not alien-like, which I don't mind. I do like that with Patel, the sacks on her back are like that was genuinely like, oh, that'd be disgusting. I really liked that. And the shocking moment of Ortega's and La'an, and that they're inside obviously a big digestive tract to be used as fuel or food. And Ortega's has lost like half of her fingers. I was like, whoa, that's pretty gory. And I like the fact that they were sort of hard, like you saw in their faces, they were sort of digested from the acid. It was really quite disturbing. And then later on, once again, spoilers, Ortega's getting stabbed. I was like, motherfucking God, part of me loves Ortega's, and I think we need to see more of Ortega's. I think she's fantastic. She's a great character. Part of me wanted her to die so that the stakes were a bit higher. It was a bit harsh, but I was just like, I want one of these characters to die. I'm not being malicious. I was just like, I want stakes. I want something big, impactful to happen. And the whole episode was pretty perfect. Chapel and Spock come up with some interesting ways to save Pike's girlfriend. Pike comes up with an interesting way to stop the Gorn, although we've seen it before. Uhura's where every crew member in this was present. The only problem I had is obviously the story resolves with everyone. Ortega's is in sickbay, she's critical condition, but she's stable. And Pike goes to see his girlfriend in sickbay, and he's sort of talking to the air, and I literally out loud, I went, "Don't you do it, don't you do it." He got on his knees and started doing the started praying. And I don't mind religion in Star Trek, but I don't want my characters to be religious. And I get that, I don't know how to put it, Star Trek has been inherently, from Gene Roddenberry to right through to, I want to say Discovery touched upon it, but never really went full hog. Him actively kneeling down and praying next to her, although he only said like 2 words. He said the Our Father who art in heaven. And I'm like, no, because I was genuinely going, oh, actually, this episode's banging. This episode nailed it. There was enough technobabble, enough character moments, really, really showing sort of the growth of this crew and sort of the relationships between these people. And then all I could think in my head was Gene Roddenberry was a humanist. He was very much about humans benefiting each other. And religion is not. And that's my own thing. I'm an atheist. I certainly don't think religion is needed in Star Trek. And Star Trek is the reason I am an atheist. Because Star Trek has never really pushed a religion, because religion separates people and makes people feel like they're better than everyone else. And having Pike do this, and I get that he's gone through, obviously, knowing when he's going to die, like fearing for Patel's life. I get that. And so he turned to God in his darkest hour, but I didn't want to see that. I liked the character moments of him going, "I don't want to lose you." That's fine. The heartfelt moment between them was fine. I just didn't like that insert of religion right there. And I know that that's probably just me, but I don't want it to get gaudy. Even season 5 of Discovery got a little bit gaudy, and it annoyed me a bit, but it was only the medical officer. I don't care. But in terms of Pike, it's like, no, this guy has to be about humanity. It has to be about, I don't know. It just bugged me. I literally went, oh, please no. But overall, the episode was really good. Solving the problem with hibernation, very best of both worlds, but it has been like 35, almost 40 years since best of both worlds. So give them a break. Star Trek's been on for a long time, but at the same time, it was fun to get them to do that. There was definitely tension and fighting. The special effects are really good. The only thing I find is sometimes they look a bit, I want to say, too CGI. They did change the title sequence. Added a few little ships. They added a Klingon cruiser in and some new shots of the Enterprise, which I liked because we haven't seen them for a while. It also was very, very clear that Uhura, or Uhura's actor, I can't remember, Celia Gooding, is wearing a wig in this. Like, there's some shots where her hair doesn't stick quite right to her head, and B, she's got like a giant bulbous back of her head, which I'm gathering is because obviously she had an afro for the rest of the season, or she had like a bigger hair for the rest of the season. And I understand that, but it was very noticeable. Robert April turns up in this episode, and he's played great. He's sort of your standard admiral, not evil, which is good. But yeah, it was genuinely really, really good episode. Didn't like the religious bit, but I can get over that, I'm sure. It's not my first rodeo with things in Star Trek that I don't really like. But yeah, what did you think about the premiere episode of Season 3, Hegemony Part 2? Write it down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video, which will be up shortly after this video.